Greetings to the subscribers. We are Svoid from Budapest, Hungary. Svoid have been founded in 2009 as a black metal or anti-cosmic metal entity. After many years, the post-punk influences came in and it took its lead in our music. Therefore, I can refer to ourselves as a post-punk influenced black metal band or a black metal influenced post-punk band.
The meaning behind Svoid band name is an acronym. It stands for Storming Voices of Inner Devotion, which is also the title of our second album. That's one solution. And the other, I guess, is the word void. The band name Svoid includes void, and it was and it is always a central element in our music and in our lyrics.
Neptunian is our third full-length album after 8 years of pause since our last record titled Storming Voices of Inner Devotion. That has been quite of a journey musically and spiritually for us. But ultimately, this album encapsulates everything that we've been developing for this band throughout the years. And we built up a solid inventory of techniques, songwriting processes, methods, and variety of atmosphere, which is unique for us, and that is something that we've been searching for several years. And in these 8 years of distance, we've been exploring also far horizons musically. We've been marching towards more post-punkish music and built up the corner cases and edges for the music, while we've been seeking for the core, and we've been trying to preserve which reflects us the most on spiritual level. So with that 8 years of distance, we've been coming to that conclusion that the strong cohesion between black metal and post-punk is something which reflects us the most, and that's our true will to put it to the next level, and Neptunian is that essence we've been looking for. The lyrics for Neptunian continue the path we've been elaborating on the previous records as well. Our lyrics have been always very personal and ultimately spiritual. We carved our pain, despair, isolation into something very specific, and we gave birth to them through our spirituality. Anticosmos is inspiring me very well. The universe behind the universe, the infinity of space-time, and the dimensionless void after the seen and unseen horizons. We are making very transparent to our audience that there's a way to break out of of our shell and cross the horizons and just return back to that infinity which is behind us as egos. Neptunian refers to Neptune at the first place. For me, one of the strangest planets in the solar system, where wind blows with ultimate speed and there is no solid surface. It's full of mysteries and unknowns and aspects that our mind cannot cope with. And for me, that's a true connection to the self, where everything is so inevitable and crossing all these distances to our minds have been a challenge for me personally, and that 8 years left their marks on the lyrics. So I've been looking for something very specific which reflects the mind. Other than that, Neptunian refers to water out of the elements. That's alchemy in a sense, and also refers to the birth underwater that we cannot truly understand without experiencing that. The artwork for the album has been composed by Björn Bauer, a German artist who was formerly working with other acts and bands like Paradise Lost or Catatonia, and he is a very talented professional. He's always inspired by the productions he is signed with. In our first contact, our first video conference, we've been immediately connecting on a level that he is looking for something for this record that you cannot find anywhere else. And his artistic vision was to translate the music into colors and shapes and forms. So the first idea he came up with is the core of the front cover that you can see on the album. And last but not least, for me it was always very important that the final artwork receives the shapes and forms what I cannot visualize. And in our case it was just the perfect match. Listening to the album for me gives the exact same colors and shapes he has been using on the artwork.
Sun and Moon is an underground metal label from Transylvania. They support many Hungarian bands. They release their stuff. They are truly old school style guys, and we're working with them quite a while now. They released some of our past albums and Neptunian itself. They give us free hand for our artistic visions, and they are much more into the true underground than I could ever be. Besides music, I deal with music. I am a session musician, a recording producer, and a sound engineer running my own studio here in Budapest.
Outside of music, I work on a completely unrelated field. I am leading an engineer team specialized in radiotherapy. That's quite an opposite, like one could imagine, who is unleashing their artistic talents. But for me, these two worlds are merging into one, and I could not imagine my own life without one or the other. The point in time when I discovered that this is something I truly love and I want to do this was Iron Maiden, where I got a videotape with the legendary Donington video. That was the point of no return for me. I already had years into rock and metal music on a way. My father was the primary attractor to this path. Also neighbors, older guys who have been supplying me with mixtapes in thrash metal and stuffs like that. But Iron Maiden was the core, the root where it all started. That was the point where I decided that I need to grab a guitar.
For me, Iron Maiden was the main force as well. I was just a little child when I asked my father, could he grab some hard rock music maybe for me? I am curious, how does it sound like? He chose to buy the new Iron Maiden record back then, entitled The X Factor. It was the first little step, and after many years, in 2003, somehow I got in contact with the music of Iron Maiden again with Dance of Death album, and then there was no way back. My father, who is a musician, also introduced me some local metal bands, for example Excelsior or Eclipse.
I've been composing my own music out of my own struggles. Therefore, I could safely say that my entire activity in music was one desperate journey on these fields. But essentially, the birth of Svoid was a point in space-time for me where something else had to take its lead in my life than my own ego, and that was a threshold where I had to establish something very unique and something very new for myself, not just on the artistic level, because I had to just erase my past. I truly had to redefine my own darkness and put it into something else. And that was where it all started with Svoid.
So Svoid was the solution for different obstacles.
Exactly.
In fact, we collaborate with a non-metal genre. Partly we play post-punk besides of black metal. This is the mixture Svoid stands for nowadays. But if I think of artists I would love to collaborate with, I would say Imre Poniklo from Hungarian indie rock band Embersmith. I had the opportunity of playing drums for him quite a while now, and He's a magnificent songwriter, guitarist, lyricist, and singer. It would be fantastic to hear how he could sound with Svoid in a track.
For me, somebody who was very deeply influencing me as an artist in the Hungarian alternative scene was Marcel Liko. He was the founder member of What Frutik. While their art is relatively far from what we do, it has something very unique at its heart, which which challenges me. And while they are relating to so many things from the surface where I usually don't spend too much time, I feel that there is something even darker in those lyrics and in that art. It's not just music, it's a lot above that. Honestly speaking, I am not so into metal nowadays. I don't follow a lot of bands who are active. I don't really discover new things because when I do, as an escape, I shortly find myself listening to the old stuffs, and that's what usually happens when I want to break out from the shells and try to grab some fresh air. So except for a few things, I'm not so into metal from from the current scene. That also keeps me relatively fresh on composing things because I am barely influenced by others. Therefore, I gain my impressions from the old acts.
Regarding the evolution of metal music, I see no point in copying the biggest bands. Of course, as a music enthusiast, as a musician, it's a great feeling to be capable of playing the old classics and writing somewhat similar music. But viewing it artistically, I am more into fusioning different genres and creating something absolutely new from it. It might be an experiment, but it might be the beginning of a new wave in the future.
Transylvanian Hunger.
The first concert that was so memorable for me was in 2003 when Iron Maiden visited Hungary with their Dance of Death tour. It had the biggest impact on me as a young teen. I've witnessed the Norwegian singer Aurora two times in 2022. She's my favorite non metal artist. And in the past year, after many missed opportunities, I've seen Gorgoroth and Watain as well. Those were the black metal shows as it should be.
For me, one of the most remarkable concert I attended was the Chameleons with their tour dedicated to the Script of the Bridge album. That was at a small place with a truly dedicated audience. So for me, that was one of the most inspiring and most influential show I ever seen. Secondly, I've seen The Devil's Blood several times, but Vienna show was in their early ages was what they've been defining something very unique for me and to the entire audience, elevating the psychedelic rock after 40-50 years of its peak, fueled with the devil's music, was something really, really inspiring. And lastly, I had the chance to see Dissection on their Rebirth tour. And I could not find words how it felt to see that legacy on stage.
None of the above.
Both of them. Strictly speaking, I don't really have a guilty pleasure song because our music is fusion, and we are inspired by non-metal music as well. Therefore, for me, that's very self-evident that all what we perceive as inspiration can stay valid and stay identical. Therefore, the word guilt does not exist for me in this context. I can purely refer to anything what we grab as an impact musically. In a dying world like ours, there are no means to plan any future. Therefore, our will is set for the moment with this little album that's out now. We want to bring it on the stage, but besides that, nothing is settled so far. Thanks for watching us.